welcome you all to The Beat and into 12th Man Studios in the south end zone of Kyle Field. I'm Will Johnson. Let's begin with Aggie hoops. Entering last week, A&M was still undefeated in SEC play and on top of the standings. The schedule had them tangling with the Tigers twice. LSU was in on Tuesday. Missouri paid a visit this past Saturday. Tuesday night of Tiger Week, Ben Simmons and the Bayou Bengals were in town. It was essentially the SEC's best team against the league's best player. The buzz around town was palpable. Reed Arena would see its largest crowd of the season. In fact, the announced attendance of 13,888 would actually be the largest crowd to ever watch a game inside Reed. It broke the school record of 13,717 that was set versus Texas back in 2010. A packed house, prime time, this was premier college hoops. The Aggies would deliver. Back and forth, the game went for a majority of the first half. Tyler Davis and Jalen Jones led the charge. Davis started strong, scoring 13 points in the half. Jones would have 14. The Aggie defense was just as strong as the scoring output. Ben Simmons would only have 4 at the half. When the break arrived, it's A&M 38, LSU 34. The second half would be too much for the Tigers. A&M pulled away, outscoring LSU 33-23 in the final frame. Davis and Jones continued their impressive nights. They finished with 18 points and 20, respectively. In the end, it's A&M 71, LSU 57. A night to remember in A&M basketball history.
Really impressed with our crowd. I thought it gave us a lot of energy, our students, and it's good to have them back.
It's a really hyped up game, but Coach Kane just kept telling us, it's the next game. The next game is the most important game. And we just went out there and played our game.
I thought our seniors and really our young guys played with great composure the first half when we were in foul trouble and we had to play zone. We had to play some different lineups, being a little shorthanded, and just weathered the storm. And LSU's a young team, and I think playing in this environment helped us for sure.
Moving on, the Tigers from the north moved in Saturday. Texas A&M was still in first place in the league. Mizzou would come in at the bottom of the SEC standings. However, do not let records fool you. Anyone in this league can beat anyone on any given night. The Aggies would not have their best shooting evening in front of another sellout crowd. They had to look to their two-time Conference Player of the Week in Jalen Jones to get the offense going. Yet again, the senior forward would go for 20 points on the night. Jones has led this team in scoring in every conference game to this point. After only being up 4 at the half, Texas A&M registered a comfortable win, 66-53, the final.
No, it's hard to win. I mean, don't underestimate. It's hard to win. Missouri didn't come in here and to just lay down. Kim Anderson's doing a heck of a job with a young team. Played 40 minutes of zone, surrendered to it, and it gave us some problems. And you don't have a key guy. Jalen's in foul trouble the first half. You miss free throws in the first half. We just find a way to win. That's the bottom line, because it's hard to win no matter where you're at.
Two phenomenal crowds at Reed Arena for the LSU and Missouri games. And after Texas A&M heads to Arkansas on Wednesday, they look forward to their next home contest. That's against nationally ranked Iowa State as part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Tip time is 1 p.m. and the game has already been announced as a sellout. When we come back, head coach Billy Kennedy is in our studio. This portion of The Beat is brought to you by ASCO, your place for case construction equipment in Texas. Welcome back to The Beat. At the desk, we are now joined by head basketball coach Billy Kennedy. You saw that the Aggies defeated LSU and Missouri last week. It's off to Arkansas on Wednesday night before a home game Saturday versus Iowa State. Earlier this week, it was announced that Texas A&M is the number 5 team in the country in the USA Today poll. That is the highest ranking ever achieved by this program. And, Coach, I'll start right there. I don't know if you like hearing that or if you don't, because there's basketball to be played. but you can't question what your team has done to this point.
Yeah, no, we're thankful to be getting recognized, really for our players and for our fans and those who have supported us during the last couple of years when it wasn't so, we weren't ranked so high. So we're thankful, but there is a lot of games left, and so we're focused on the Arkansas Razorbacks right now.
Mm-hmm. I think about your team this year, and it just seems the buy-in, these seniors, I mean, they're just so entrenched in everything you're saying. They have a belief in what this coaching staff is putting in front of them. And with those seniors, it seems it trickles down to the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, you know, relationships. You know, Alex Caruso's been in the program 4 years, and Kyle Dobbins has been in the program 4 years. He doesn't get recognized very often, but as well as some of our other guys, and Daniel House and Jalen Jones, and then you pick up a guy like Anthony Collins, who's been through the wars and is embracing the opportunity right now. Those guys have done a tremendous job for us.
Mm-hmm. There's so many guys you can talk about, like you mentioned, whether they're a senior or a freshman. You got a few class-wise or in the middle there. They've contributed a lot. But one of the guys, we'll talk to him in a minute on this show, and I just keep going back to him, is Jalen Jones. What he does in the points column of the stat sheet right now is really incredible.
Well, he's scoring at a high level, you know, and doing it with good shots and good percentage shots. And when he's shooting 47%, I think, from the field and 40% from the three, his shot selection has gotten a lot better. And really, that's a credit to all our other guys. You know, they're doubling Daniel House coming off of ball screens in some games, and he makes the right play. Jalen gets layups that he's able to attack the basket and finish. They're helping off of different guys. Tyler Davis has been an impact guy that's allowed Jalen to get some open threes. So Jalen's been great for us, but our other guys have helped him get there.
Yeah, in ways they're doing it. I think you've mentioned this before. Just on offense, ball movement has been terrific throughout it.
Ball movement, extra pass. We've been talking about that since the spring and the summer on, and when you add Anthony Collins with already a really good passer in Caruso, and Daniel House, I think, had 5 assists the last game. So our guys are sharing the ball and being unselfish.
And also when you need a big shot. There's a lot of guys that can take it, and it seems like that doesn't rattle anyone, moments of adversity. This team stays steady through it all.
Been steady. Our freshmen have given us a good lift in that area, and then Alex Caruso's made a big shot. Daniel's made big shots for us, and big free throws. You know, we've made some big free throws down the stretch. Our percentage as a whole is not where I would like it, but we're making when they count.
Arkansas, you got them pretty good at Reed Arena, but everything's a little bit different when you visit Arkansas and play in Bud Walton Arena.
Bud Walton Arena is the toughest place I played ever last year. In that environment last year, they put a whipping on us the first half. And second half, we made a run at it, but that's one of the toughest places to play in the country. They're a different team there. We've got to be our best to go in there and win Wednesday.
And finally, I wanted to ask you about the upcoming home game Saturday. It's a big one. Nationally ranked A&M and Iowa State comes into town. A little break from conference play for this. You'll go against an old friend in Steve Prohm. And before the season, you mentioned to me that's never the funnest thing for coaches to do, going against a guy you know so well.
To come full circle from Centenary College, where we were both scrambling, young. I was a young head coach. He was a young assistant. To be coaching at a high-level game like this is a blessing, and so we're going to make the most of it.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. All the best in Fayetteville and then back home against Iowa State on Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Billy Kennedy right here on The Beat. When we return, we talk to one of his players, and that is senior Jalen Jones. This portion of The Beat is brought to you by Memorial Hermann, official sports medicine partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We welcome you back to The Beat. We just caught you up on the Texas A&M men's basketball team. They are out in front in the SEC, and we now sit down and spend some time with senior Jalen Jones. He and the Aggies playing very well, and they look forward to a Wednesday night trip to Fayetteville to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Jalen, thanks so much for the time in your busy schedule as you guys, like I said, the leaders in the Southeastern Conference right now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great to be the leader of the conference right now, and we've been working really hard to this point, and we know we have to continue to build on it, and it starts again at Arkansas.
Before we talk hoops, I want to quickly discuss another milestone that happened for you inside Reed Arena. This was back in December. You walked the stage at Texas A&M University. You're a graduate of this school now. Getting handed that diploma, hearing your name called that day, is that as big as anything else that's happened in Reed Arena during your time?
It's one of the top moments ever in my life. I just came a long way, and just glad I graduated from such a great university, and I'll cherish that moment for the rest of my life.
Thinking of moments, this team, 17-2 overall now after a Saturday win over Missouri. When did you know? What was the moment where you thought, all right, we can have a special group here? Did it come during the season or maybe before you guys tipped it all off?
I think it started in the summer, and it started with when we went overseas and took that trip. Just the way we bonded as a team, and the guys, how everybody just really was willing to buy in. And when we had some success overseas, and that translated to more summer practices and going into the season, I just knew it could really be a special season for us.
Are you feeling the buzz around this basketball team? Because it's on campus, it's in the community, but right now it's national as well. Texas A&M basketball is becoming a household name to a lot of people across the country. Are you feeling that buzz with you guys?
We definitely feel the buzz, and we definitely feel the love, and we know that our hard work is paying off, and we have to continue to build on it. And the coaches do a great job of keeping us focused and prepared in practice, and we know we have a lot more work to do.
One of the key games in the run right now for you guys was LSU last week on a Tuesday. I mean, you're talking about almost 14,000 were at Reed Arena. You went against a guy who's also right there as far as being the SEC Player of the Year. It seems everybody talks about Ben Simmons this season and what he's done at LSU. He's probably a one and done, maybe a first-round pick in the draft. Describe that night at Reed Arena, going against him, having that backing with the Reed Rowdies in the 12th man.
It was just a lot of adrenaline, I know, for all of us, to have the 12th man behind us like that, and the students to come out and support us the way they did. I mean, it felt great, and they really helped us come to a great victory, and they continue to come out like that. There'll be more special victories to come.
Before the year, a lot of people talked about a heralded freshman class arriving, but I think once the year got tipped off, it's really been about the seniors, yourself, Caruso, House, and Collins. If we go through those guys, Daniel House, in recent games, perhaps he hadn't had as many points as we're used to seeing, but he continues to contribute in so many ways, maybe not filling up the points column.
You know, Daniel's a senior, he's a veteran. I mean, he knows that, you know, if scoring is not going for him, he's got to do other things to try to help the team win, and he's been doing a great job of that, just like Caruso. He does a great job of facilitating, a great floor leader, always stealing passes, and Collins is, you know, he's laid back, and he's a great floor leader as well, and he's always looking to pass first, and, you know, just playing along those guys, man, is just an honor.
Started this by talking about how you graduated. There's a chance to be SEC Player of the Year. There's a chance for an SEC championship for this team. Ultimately, what would potentially a trip into that March Madness bracket in the NCAA tournament mean to you in your final year as a collegiate?
I mean, it'll mean everything. I've never been to the NCAA tournament, and I've, you know, wanted to be there as a little kid and dreamed about that. And we have the team to do it, and this has been a special year so far, and I just know we have the talent to make it real deep into the tournament and make this year even more special.
But next up, Arkansas, right? Nothing
Arkansas, got to take care of them next.
Well, thanks for the time. Good luck to you up in Fayetteville.
Thank you.
Jalen Jones, Aggie Senior. Next time you can see Texas A&M at home, a big tilt with Iowa State on Saturday at Reed Arena. Back in a moment. We welcome you back to The Beat. It seems if an Aggie sport is in action right now, they are in their respective top 25s. And several were going at it this weekend. Here is our All Sports report. Women's basketball had a marquee matchup in the SEC on Thursday. Two ranked teams got together as the Aggies hosted Missouri. A&M held a healthy fourth quarter lead, only to see Mizzou whittle it away. And the Tigers were up 4 with less than a minute to go. But the Aggies would send it to overtime with 8 seconds left and A&M down 3. Courtney Walker fouled shooting a 3, sank a trio of free throws to knot the game up. In the extra stanza, Walker scored 10 of A&M's 16 points. The Aggies beat Missouri 81-77. The women are ranked in the top 10 and host number 2 South Carolina at Reed Arena on Sunday at 5 p.m. That's as marquee as a matchup gets. The 5th-ranked men's tennis team swept a pair of matches at the Mitchell Center this weekend, beating Fresno State and Boise State both by 4-0 counts to advance to the ITA National Team Indoor Championships.
Well, it obviously helps us, to get a chance to play at the National Indoor against the top teams in the country. This was one of our team goals this year, was to make that tournament and do well there. And so, this is our first step, and I was proud of the way our guys competed today.
This weekend at the Mitchell Center also marked the debut of Mark Weaver as the head women's tennis coach. In his first match, the Aggies beat South Alabama 4-0 on Saturday, then came back and edged Wichita State 4-3 on Sunday. The wins also secured the women a spot in the ITA Indoor Championships. Saturday on the Bayou and in the pool, the Texas A&M men's and women's swimming and diving teams swept the LSU Tigers. The men rallied to defeat the Tigers 158.5 to 141.5. The women, ranked 6th nationally, bested LSU 181 to 119. Coming up soon for both the SEC championships in Columbia, Missouri, which start on February 16th. Finally, track and field for the second straight weekend ran at home indoors. They hosted the Texas A&M Quadrangular at Gillum Stadium. The Aggies had Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Arizona State squared away to compete. That trio was no match, though. The A&M men won first easily. It was closer for the women, but they claimed the title, edging out OU.
You never know what's going to happen in the score until that mile relay is done. And we're going to have closer meets than this one coming up pretty quick. So this is a good setup to start thinking about their contribution to the team, and that's important.
Track and field, they're back home on February 5th and 6th when they host the Charlie Thomas Invitational. Also a reminder, once the calendar turns to February, softball and baseball will get started. Softball, their season opener at home is February 12th. 1 week later, it's baseball out at Bluebell Park on February 19th. Back in a moment to close out this edition of The Beat. We have run out of time on this edition of The Beat from the south end zone of Kyle Field in our 12th Man Studios. I'm Will Johnson. All of us at 12th Man Productions, thank you for joining us. So long, everybody.